Alright, this is Keeper of the Dark Heart here with...
The great and fantastic Opal Spring.
I'm gonna have to argue Great and Fantastic Four. But anyways,
Ay, ay, ay.
here we are with more The Legend of Eevee, Pokeflute of Time, Chapter 2, Idiocy in the Deku Tree. Oh, this does not sound good for our protagonist.
Oh, poor Togetic.
Alright, and it's your line from the get-go.
Okay. Okay, Sue. I brought the fat kid. Can I go home now?
Togetic called as she and Pichu wandered into Celebi's grove. The forest guardian saw them from his perch high up in the great Deku tree and floated down to meet them. Togetic, you came back, he said gratefully. I was afraid you wouldn't, especially since you theoretically could have just flown out of the forest and never come back. Togetic looked stunned before facepalming.
Damn it! Why didn't I?
Celebi turned his attention away from her. Now, Pichu, I'm sure as you're very concerned as to why I could have possibly called you here. Not really. You have candy. There is a foul curse that has been placed on me, Celebi went on. I need someone brave, strong, and loyal to break the curse for me. Unfortunately, you're all I have at the moment. You don't look cursed, said Pichu. The curse isn't on me, per se, but on the great Deku tree. The big important tree thing behind me, he clarified when Pichu gave him a clueless look. But due to a bunch of spiritual mumbo-jumbo, I happen to be bonded with every living thing in this forest. So if the tree dies, so do I. Pichu marveled at him. Are you really bonded to everybody? Uh-huh. So you knew that one time I had constipation? Look, just go into the tree and kill the monster, okay? That can't possibly be too hard, even for you.
See? I have to object.
Togetic spoke up.
I've been with the guy for 5 minutes, and already my IQ has dropped at least 10 points. He can't possibly help you.
You make a good point, Togetic, Celebi mused. You'd better go with him. The smug look on Togetic's face instantly turned into one of bug-eyed horror.
What?
Have fun, you two, said Celebi, causing a huge doorway to open up inside the Deku tree and shoving Pichu and Togetic inside.
I don't believe this. I don't frickin' believe this.
Togetic moaned. They were standing in a massive chamber inside the Deku tree with vine-covered walls surrounding them on all sides.
Just don't believe Celebi could possibly be such an asshole. Can you, Pichu? Pichu?
Pichu didn't answer. He was being eaten by a carnivine.
Oh, for crying out.
Togetic pulled him out of its mouth.
Next time, try to go for more than 5 seconds without almost dying.
Alright, here, I'm going to stop us just for a second. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what a certain Pokemon looks like, for when it is first announced, I will be putting a picture in the chapter that's announced, and if we see it again, well, then I'm going to say, go back to another chapter to look at it, because I'm not going to do that, because I'm a lazy bastard. Okay?
You.
Okay. Pichu and Togetic started exploring and eventually clambered up the vines and reached the second floor.
I don't see any huge monsters around here.
Togetic mused.
Something tells me that it's underground, though through the hole covered up by the spiderweb on the floor. What do you think?
Pichu didn't answer. He was busy being gnawed on by a bunch of evil Spinarchs.
Can't you do anything right?
The general consensus is no. The two of them entered an empty room where one lone Bellsprout jumped at them. Feast on my bullet seed, bitches! He shouted, before shooting a round of seeds from his mouth, hitting Pichu directly in the face. Ow! 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 Pichu cried, collapsing onto the ground as the seeds continued to strike him. Togetic, what do I do?
You could try moving 1 step to the right.
I could what now? By the time he managed to stand back up, Togetic had already ripped the Bellsprout in half. Oh, I knew that. They wandered into the living
room.
Yeah, wow, that's a great tree right there. Anyways, shut up, you. They wandered into the next room.
Look what he was guarding, Pichu. It's a chest. Maybe you should open it.
What's a giant treasure chest doing inside a tree?
Stop asking questions. Open the stupid chest.
Pichu trembled with anticipation as he pried the chest open. Ooh, I wonder what it could be. Maybe gold, or candy, or a sports car, or candy, or a jet plane, or maybe my own private island filled with candy, or... He peered inside. What? Oh, come on! It's just a bunch of seeds! Worst treasure ever!
They're not the ones the Bellsprout had.
Togetic noted.
Looks like you can use bullet seed now.
How is that supposed to help me? Back in the main chamber, they saw 3 more Spinnerax who were climbing around the wall and leading up to the top of the tree.
You can't get them from down here. You'll have to throw something at them.
Togetic hinted, gesturing not so subtly to Pichu's bag of seeds. You're right. Pichu pondered this for a long moment before grabbing Togetic and throwing her up.
You're incredibly stupid.
Togetic said several minutes later as she flew back down, bleeding heavily. They both climbed up and found themselves standing on a precarious edge. Falling off all the way down of the spider Falling off would lead all the way down to the spider web-covered hole, which in turn led all the way down to another huge chamber.
Looks like we're going to have to jump.
I'd rather not.
Quit being a pansy. Just jump.
Sorry, T-Money, but I kind of like being dead. Ah! Okay, again. Never remind me. Shoot! Okay, guys.
I was going to, but you jumped ahead of me.
Alright, sorry. So all of you who are listening and probably nursing bleeding ears, feel free to shoot me next time. Or better yet, shoot Opal for not getting me.
I'm sorry.
Back to the story, which I'm sure you've all gotten first aid by now. He screamed as Togetic shoved him. He crashed through the web and landed with a huge splash of water onto the water-filled chamber underneath the tree. Why couldn't you just fly me down? He screamed at Togetic, who had flown down after him.
You obviously haven't figured out how I work.
The two of them continued to wander on as Pichu did more inexplicably stupid things, including almost drowning 2 inches of water, getting impaled by a spiky log, and setting himself on fire. Luckily, he then started screaming and rolling around on another spiderweb, which burned off as he plummeted down yet another watery chamber. You're not being very helpful, he said to Togetic, who had been pointing and laughing at him.
Dude, unless I start getting paid for this, you'll be lucky if I don't kill you myself.
The two of them suddenly noticed that this room had 3 nasty-looking Bellsprouts standing around in front of the door and glaring at them. How the heck did you make it this far without dying? Demanded the center one. I have no idea, replied Pichu, who's now nursing a large amount of stupidity-induced injuries. You can have this one.
Oh, well, your luck is about to run out,
shouted the Bellsprout, and all 3 of them began bombarding him with seeds. Mother! Not again! Togetic sighed and strangled all of them.
Now, tell us how to defeat the monster!
She shouted at the center one, as she had her hands around his neck. Why, you're just going to kill me either way.
But if you tell us, I'll make up a cool story about how you died.
Oh. Well, if you want to kill the queen up ahead, you have to hit her while she's stunned. And to stun her, you have to hit her in the face with something. Like a seed. Preferably with bullet-like qualities. But I don't have anything like that, Pichu complained. Togetic's eyes twitched and she took out her exasperation by slugging the Bellsprout until he stopped moving.
Come on, Pichu. Let's get this over with,
she said as she pulled him through the door. T-Money, I think you might have some anger issues. And that's the end of Chapter 2, Idiocy in the Deku Tree. So again, I must apologize for the ear rape.
Ear rape.
So like I said, blame her for not stopping me, not me.
Hey, you jumped ahead. How was I supposed to stop you?
So anyways, review for this chapter. What do you think?
Pichu is so stupid.
I know, he's just like a really retarded person playing Link at the controls.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think I'd just kill him and go back to Sylvie and be like, "Oop, sorry, he died."
Again, so for me, this chapter is still a bit too early to call it, but it's still looking up. A few
Yeah.
what the hell moments, but still good, right?
They're not what the hell moments, they're what the fuck moments.
Hey, I'm trying to keep it like somewhat tame for the little kids who may be watching.
Too late.
Yeah, I know. So until then, folks, this is Keeper of the Dark Heart with,
Opal Spring.
and take it easy, everyone. Bye bye.
Ayo.